Was Jimmy Valiant's Boogie Woogie Man character only capable of being in the Carolinas and Memphis? Or could it have been over in the mid-80s WWF, a la Georgie Animal Steel and over-the-top type of gimmick? Would Vince have even given him a look due to his lack of an impressive physique? Or would Jimmy's charisma have been enough for success in New York at that time?
Oh, good God. Jim, that at that time could have gotten over anywhere because Jimmy was unique. And we've talked about so many times that a gimmick has to have the right guy in it, or elsewise imagine somebody else being the Undertaker, whatever. Anybody else trying to do anything that Jimmy Valiant did would have just stunk of grisly death. But because it was him doing it, it worked, and he was so over at those Crockett shows. And I'm talking anything from Gaffney, South Carolina at the high school to fucking Baltimore or Philadelphia. When he went, the people went insane, and it certainly would have worked. I don't know at that point in time when Vince was after the 1984 national expansion, obviously the Valiant brothers and Jimmy Valiant have been a huge name in the WWF for, 15 years at that point. I don't know that Jimmy at that point in his life wanted to go on the road like they were because he was in his 40s at that point. He wasn't going to leave Crockett. It was a good thing once that he got over there. I don't know if there was any consideration, but yes, he could have gotten over body or not. And Jimmy was jacked up in his younger days, but body or not, that would have been perfect. That's the one gimmick that would have been perfect for the WWF as well as the NWA, because it was completely different than anything else. And it was Jimmy.
His physique certainly did have a fast change from like 81 in Memphis to, 86 in Crockett or 83 in Crockett.
But now think about this. Think about the way it changed at various points in the 70s. He would bulk up, and then he would get down and get cut, and then he'd be bigger again, and then he'd kind of leave off the training and get a little tubby. But then, he went through when he switched heel and babyface back and forth in Tennessee before it just became fruitless to switch him heel. He always had a different look with the facial hair or one time he started wearing dark eye makeup under his eyes and having this real bug-eyed expression. He looked like a fucking lunatic. He changed so much, but he was always at the root of it. I guess the thing about Handsome Jimmy in Memphis or the Boogie Woogie Man in Carolinas was even if when he did shit different, it was always shit that you would expect Jimmy Valiant to do. I don't know how to explain it. It was mass hypnosis is what it was, but he was over.
Jimmy Valiant, the only man to make the Manhattan Transfer tolerable for at least 2 minutes.
And actually I always loved Son of a Gypsy. That was the best entrance music he could have fucking had, man. I'm just telling you. It was great. And I was the one playing it every night. I was carrying, when nobody had music, I was carrying a portable boombox to all the towns in the trunk of the car, so that I had like the three people's music, Lawler, Valiant, and whoever else that would get played, and I'd sit there at the back with the fucking ring microphone held up to the boombox. That was our state-of-the-art sound system in the 70s.
What year were you doing that?
Well, Jimmy's record came out in 79, so pretty much from then on.
Wow.
Even when I wasn't the ring announcer, I was the photographer. I would bring the boombox in because it also recorded, so I could do radio spot. I have radio interviews I did with all the Memphis guys from 1980 and 81, where I was still a stooge. But I would run up to the wherever the ring announcer was, if he was up on the stage in Evansville or down at ringside, somewhere else. Louisville, they actually had a cassette player tied into the PA system. But then you had to go all the way to the fucking front door just to where the controls were to shepherd the building sound guy who had no idea about wrestling or whatever the fuck. And you had to say, hit play, hit stop, turn it up, right? So I preferred to do it myself. And I'd take the boombox, stick the fucking microphone, play the fucking song, and then go back to taking pictures when they started the match. I was doing a little bit of everything.
And those songs came out on 45s. Did you get those and then convert them to cassette yourself?
Oh, yeah. Because I've always had anything with tape, vinyl, recording. Bolin and I had state-of-the-art cassette and component stereo systems. And I got the early VCR so I could tape wrestling. But But yeah, those 45, Handsome Jimmy's Valiant, Son of a Gypsy, not only was getting played on the radio in rotation on FM 100 in Memphis, which is why if you go back to some of the old Memphis tapes, Jimmy had FM 100 means music on the ass of his tights. But they were selling them in the arenas, and I don't know what he went through, what he said that he went through in his autobiography, but it was in the tens of thousands, and I believe it. Of records that they sold over the period of time that they were on sale, and he was here in Memphis.